Take responsibility for your life. Achieve fulfillment with recovery. Check out responsiblerecovery.net.
So that kind of started my drinking career. And so I remember starting to drink because I just wanted to feel normal. And I never have. And even now, even in recovery, I still don't feel normal, but I embrace it now. So the only time I could feel like everyone likes who I am is when I was drinking. When I was drinking, I was grade A. Everybody loved me. Like, I didn't have to double think myself. I didn't have to like overthink how I was interacting with people, because I don't know why it was such a big deal to me when I was 18, but like it killed me that people thought I was weird. And I can't tell you how many times like people would be like, Michelle, you're so weird. My own name. And that just killed me. It really, being called weird absolutely killed me. But now I could see what they were talking about, and not just weird like circumstances and stuff. Like in situations I get weird, like I'll just like look at something or play with something or do something that's just like a little bit weird, not what normal people would do. And now I like that it makes me unique. Like people who know me, I'm a little weird, I'm a little goofy, but it's cool, that's who I am. But when I was 18, I couldn't stand that, and so I had a way out. I could drink alcohol. And I'm not sure why I was obsessed with the idea of whiskey, but I was. And so whiskey is what I went for. I tried vodka, absolutely hated it. I used to like chase raspberry vodka with a bagel so that I could take more shots. And I would do that super nerdy thing where you keep track on your wrist of how many shots you do, and then you go, oh, I totally blacked out and I didn't keep track of all of them. I took way more than this. Like loser stuff that you think is super cool when you're 18. And so I ended up living in that apartment for a year. But I have to say, when I was sober, I still didn't feel comfortable in my own skin. Like I was always looking for acceptance. I was always looking for attention. I always wanted to just feel loved, and I was far away from, my sister and my aunt and uncle. And I was just, and I actually went to college with my best friend, but she ended up finding her own like group of people. And at first I hung out with her, but like she had found her group of people. I wasn't mad at her for it, but they weren't my group of people. Like they weren't my friends. I was really just the hanger-on, and they were her group of friends. So, at some point I kind of just isolated myself and, just stayed at the house. And so I ended up, sometimes I just can't even explain like the decisions I made. I never got a job while I was there until like, because I was living off of financial aid, until like, I don't know, it must have been like March. And I ended up getting a job for about a month at a Jewish deli place, like a Jewish sushi bar. It was the weirdest thing. But I ended up, like, these two of my friends came and visited me at work, and I gave them free food. And it turns out the boss was there. The guy who owned the whole place watched me give free food to my two friends. And so he came up to me, he goes, let me see like the credit card receipt, because I pretended to run it just in case anybody was watching. And of course I didn't. And so he goes, let me see the credit card receipt. I was like, oh, there is none. And he goes, yeah, you're fired. I was like, yeah, that checks out for sure. And so that was the only job I had. And I didn't really try to get another job, but I was still running out of money. I ended up living on like oatmeal, literally just oatmeal, for about 2 months until my sister visited and like bought me groceries and stuff. It was horrible. I remember I eventually, like it must have been in July, like when the lease was ending, I sold my bed. It was a very expensive bed. I bought it when I had financial aid. And one of my friends was nice enough to buy it because they needed a new bed, and I gave it to her for $500, whereas she would have to buy a new bed for like $1,000. But everyone knows like used beds only sell for like $200 or $300. But she was nice and she gave me $500. I remember the first thing I went and bought was Jack in the Box with my money, and it was so good. My God, was it good. But then I ended up moving back to Northern California. I ended up moving in with my sister, and my sister actually got me a job working at a grocery store. We were both butcher's assistants. And so people tend to like me, like kind of right off the bat. Like they get this gut feeling about me. Even when they don't like other people, they tend to like me. And, you know, I have to say, I kind of like it. But like the manager of the grocery store that we worked at, she hated everybody. But she met me and she goes, I want to give you a job. I was like, dope. And so we ended up, they had like this like work event. I don't remember if I worked there at the time or if it was before I started working there. But we ended up going to an A's game and tailgating. And I wasn't 21 yet. But they were, of course, feeding me booze. And I was drinking it hard. Hadn't eaten anything all day, let alone water. We were doing like the beer bongs. And there's this thing, it was called Votang. It was vodka, Tang, and vanilla, and it tastes exactly like Tang, but it is so strong and full of alcohol, it's insane. So I end up not only peeing my pants on the way to a porta potty because I just couldn't hold it, and I'm completely drunk, off my ass drunk. I can't even walk straight, but I'm trying to get to the porta potty and I can't. So of course, logically, I decide to just sit down and pee myself. And when I'm sitting there peeing, which it's dry cement around me, they can see that I'm peeing myself. The assistant store manager walks by and goes, hey, you okay? I'm like, just fine. Like, I can't just be like, I'm peeing myself. Can you like go over there really quick? So after that happened, drank some more, ended up, I don't remember this part because I was blacked out now. We ended up going, the game had started, so we were trying to get in. And everybody had to go to the bathroom. When I got to the bathroom, I passed out on the toilet and slipped onto the floor, like with my pants down. The store manager was in the next stall. And she ended up, like, because I wear glasses, I'm wearing contacts right now. She ended up having to grab my glasses because they called, of course, an ambulance and all that stuff. And, you know, I couldn't see for 2 days because she had my glasses from saving me from my pants down, passing out on the toilet, which should have been mortifying. Should have been like, hey, a wake-up call. Like, maybe don't drink so much. Like, your boss, the person who was nice enough to give you a job, saw you black out on a toilet with your pants down, and you had to go to the hospital for it. Of course not. Of course that was not anywhere near my end. But I did end up going to the hospital. The nurse was not very nice, and I remember that. I remember him not being very nice. He was like, I'm a dad. You're going to pee in this little bin thing. I was like, oh, okay, I'll pee in it. Like, you don't have to yell at me. I'm just trying to sleep here, dude. And so, went to the hospital that time. Definitely not great. That was when I was like 20. Lived with my sister. We ended up moving actually in with her and her fiance. Turned 21. Nothing too major happened. That was actually probably the healthiest I've ever been with alcohol, was directly after I turned 21. You know, I had a 21st birthday party, flirted with some guys, you know, probably got a little bit too drunk, but it was fine, you know. We ended up moving out to Antioch, because he had a house there or whatever. Again, nothing too horrible. There was one time that we ended up, like, going with a couple of our friends to San Francisco, and on the way back, I just had a bit too much and I ended up throwing up on myself in the car. But nothing spectacular, like, you know, regular drunk escapades with your sister and your friends and whatnot. I was more concerned about dating and dieting and all that stuff, and we got a new cat. Life was good at that point. But I also decided that I wanted more. So I decided, let's give college another college try.
Take responsibility for your life. Achieve fulfillment with recovery. Check out responsiblerecovery.net.